One county in Oregon has said that people of color are not required to wear masks. White people are. Does coronavirus know the difference? Joe Biden has showed a complete lack of leadership this week, as well as confusing some basic facts and figures. Again. Plus, CHOP is about to get chopped with a ton of lawsuits from angry business owners and residents. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thanks so much for tuning in. Please tell your friends. We're going to start with coronavirus because it's back in the news and the Democrats are jumping on it in a big way. Everyone needs to wear masks. There's spikes and surges all over the place. We reopen too soon. They are capitalizing everywhere they can to, again, incite this fear and panic so that people will lock down, so they will grasp and reach for more government instead of more freedom. And rather than getting into my coronavirus manifesto that I've gone over time and time again regarding herd immunity, regarding the actual facts and figures, regarding our freedoms and our constitutional rights, I'm just going to focus on the hypocritical nature of the Democrats and the left and some of the things that we're seeing. First of all, there's the obvious, that rioters and looters and vandals are somehow immune to coronavirus, but Trump supporters aren't. You want to hold a rally, a protest for George Floyd? That's great. You're immune. We're not going to say anything. If you want to do one for Michigan, protesting the lockdowns peacefully, assembling, can't do that. That's a health hazard. You're putting people at risk if you do that. Bring 15,000 plus people together for a rally in New York for Black Trans Lives Matter, all packed together. That's praised. Everything's good because those people are somehow immune. But President Trump wants to hold a rally? That's bad. That's a health hazard. He's putting people at risk. He's putting the entire country at risk. It's absolutely insane. Now we have an example in Lincoln County, Oregon, that just defies any explanation. And once again, it goes to this thing where left-wingers are immune, but those on the right are not. In this case, people of color are somehow immune, and white people are not. They are the ones that need to wear the masks and be safe, while people of color, it's an option. Here's a story from the Washington Times. Health officials in Lincoln County, Oregon are making a special exemption to COVID-19 mask rules for people of color who have a heightened concerns about racial profiling and harassment. A directive signed June 16th by Health Administrator Rebecca Austin and Health Officer Dr. David Long orders citizens to wear masks at indoor public settings and outdoor public locations where social distancing of 6 feet is not possible. Children and persons with disabilities or specific medical conditions are exempt, although the directive makes clear that non-white individuals who worry over harassment due to wearing face coverings in public are included in that exemption. So if you're scratching your head wondering, what did Bobby just say? Is he nuts? Coronavirus knows the difference? This is exactly what they're doing. They're saying that if you're white, you must wear a mask, unless you're a child or have some other condition. But if you're a person of color and you're worried that it might stigmatize you, might affect your feelings, then you don't need to do it. So the article quotes Renika Moore, who is the director of the ACLU's Racial Justice Program. They quote her, talking to her about some of the justification for this program. And here's what she says. For many black people, deciding whether or not to wear a bandana in public to protect themselves and others from contracting coronavirus is a lose-lose situation that can result in life-threatening consequences either way, Ms. Moore said, the New York Post reported on Tuesday. So basically what Moore and another black professor, economics professor that they quoted are saying is that if you feel like wearing this makes you look like some kind of criminal, then your feelings are more important and you don't need to do it. Even though everyone's wearing a mask, everyone looks like they're about to rob a bank, that doesn't matter. This is special. And it's just insane because what kind of message is it sending? There's a couple options that you can take there. One is that this whole public health crisis is actually bogus because they are putting feelings ahead of actual public health. If you feel that this might affect you, you don't need to wear a mask. So where's the importance in the health aspects of that? How actually important is it for your health if you don't need to wear it if you feel bad? Second, does it send the message that white lives matter, that they're more important because whites are required to wear it and stay healthy while people of color, it's just optional? What kind of message does it send when you really look at it? But the Democrats and the left, they don't look at these messages. They don't look at the hypocrisy or the lunacy of these programs. They just put it in place so people will feel better and they'll gain some racial points or go up on the wokeness scale. It's absolutely insane. So next we're going to talk about Joe Biden. But first, folks, if you love this show, if you're new to the show, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 subscribers by Election Day. 100K by Election Day. And we can do it with your help. That's the only way we could do it. Thanks for spreading the word. So next we're going to talk about Joe Biden, because in the span of this week, he's shown that he is not ready for president. He is not fit on a mental scale. He's not fit on a leadership scale. All of this stuff that's going on, these monuments being destroyed. There are people vandalizing statues and monuments. And I'm not even talking about the Confederacy. I'm talking about people that helped end the Confederacy. I'm talking about people that were civil rights leaders. These are being torn down because there's just anarchy. There's just chaos. And none of these prime Democrat leaders are speaking out like Joe Biden. We're going to get to some of that in a minute. But the other thing is the things he says. It's just total nonsense. Since he started on the campaign trail, he's had a mix of just clip after clip after clip. Sometimes, like I said, speaking nonsense.
We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
And sometimes he can't say anything at all.
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
And then there's sometimes, like this event covered just yesterday on Thursday on PBS, he can't get his facts and figures right.
What people drastically underestimate is the impact on the mental health of people who now everything is complicated. Not only is the healthcare piece, but people don't have a job, people don't have anywhere to go, they don't know what they're going to do. And a lot of people you have unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. Over 100, All
right, so remember in one of the debates, he said that basically since 2007, half the country has been killed by guns. Half the country. That's what he said in a debate. Now he says 120 million people have died from coronavirus. It's just absolutely insane. And here's what's interesting. Where I cut off that clip, you probably thought, oh, he just cut off the clip there. Biden was about to correct himself. That's where the clip ended. PBS's live stream went out right when he did that figure. It's if they have someone on staff that's the Joe Biden gaffmeister, the fixer, who's ready to go, ready to pull the plug as soon as Joe Biden says something ridiculous like that. Because as soon as he said it, they lost the feed. It went out. So there's him on facts and figures this week. The other thing is, this is so pathetic, is that no one is speaking out on the violence. No one is speaking out on the rioting and looting that we had immediately post George Floyd. But now it's just evolved into this tearing down of statues because it's the next thing. It's not about Confederate statues. It's about power and control. Can we spread fear and chaos? Because if we do, we gain more control. People will give in to demands and we gain more control. Because now you see, it's way past Confederate statues or monuments. They're pulling down Jefferson and Lincoln and Washington and Grant. People that helped build the country. People who helped save the country. And Joe Biden, I looked through his Twitter feed. He hasn't written a word. He hasn't tweeted anything. He hasn't said a word that you guys need to stop this stuff. It's absolutely insane. I mean, you have a Black Lives Matter leader going on Fox News and saying this.
It's interesting that you would pose that question like that, because this country is built upon violence. What was the American Revolution? What's our diplomacy across the globe? We go in and we blow up countries and we replace their leaders with leaders who we like. So for any American to accuse us of being violent, it's extremely hypocritical.
So basically what this guy is saying is that because the U.S. engages in aggressive action from time to time to protect its national interest, then it's okay for Americans to use violence on each other. It's okay to riot and loot and vandalize to drive your agenda. That's what he's saying, and there's no counter from Joe Biden. Nothing at all regarding the rioting, looting in general. Nothing at all regarding this clip. No one asks him about it because the left-wing media protects him. And then he's not taking a leadership role and speaking out in general. And he's not alone. Nancy Pelosi's not doing it. These blue state governors and mayors aren't doing it. They are remaining silent and letting Antifa and Black Lives Matter call the shots. And those groups want the chaos, they want the fear, they want the anarchy so they can gain control. And people who are supposed to be leaders like Joe Biden, he's doing nothing. Do we really want this guy as president who's going to be a pawn of these militant radical groups, these extremists who want violence and chaos and looting and rioting? It's absolutely insane. He has shown in 1 week that he does not deserve and should not be president of the United States. So next, I want to talk about CHOP and what's going on over there. But first, folks, you got to tune in tomorrow for our Saturday live stream. We've got a great special guest. I'm going to be talking to Kevin Sorbo, the guy who was Hercules, the guy who has done so much in Hollywood as a conservative, as a person of faith, bringing an inspirational message through his projects to the people. We're going to talk about his movies, his upcoming film, Miracle in East Texas, all of his projects, and get his take on conservatives in Hollywood, politics in general, plus take your questions. So just tune in tomorrow. It's 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time for our Saturday live stream. I can't wait. It's going to be great. So now let's talk about CHOP, which was Chaz, and it is a perfect example of what I was talking about, where Blue State, the governor, the mayor of this city, did not do anything. They let people take control of an area of the city. The cops left. There was anarchy, and the media tried to portray it as all peaceful and loving and stuff. Yeah, until some warlord takes over, until there's violence every night. People were assaulted. 3 people were shot. The police can't get in to render aid quickly enough. It's absolutely insane. So now the mayor is finally saying she's going to do something about it, but she's got a lot more problems on her hands now because the lawsuits are coming. They are coming from the business owners. They are coming from the residents. People are not happy, and here's the story. Numerous Seattle businesses, including an auto repair shop, a tattoo parlor, and a property management company, sued the city Wednesday, alleging city officials were complicit in allowing an occupied protest that has made them feel unsafe in their neighborhood, according to reports. Workers and residents also joined the lawsuit over CHOP, the Capitol Hill occupied protest, which drew scorn from President Trump and other critics who accused Mayor Jenny Durkin, the city's police chief, and other leaders of turning the area over to anarchists. So I think this is fantastic. It's absolutely awesome. People are supposed to feel safe. They pay their tax dollars to the city for police protection and to be able to engage in commerce, to live in a certain area in safety, to engage in their business, to run their business as they see fit. These were closed down. Even the media talking about how peaceful it is. Yeah, guess what? Residents weren't allowed to come and go as they normally were. Businesses could not open. That's peaceful? No, that's lawlessness. And then in the evenings, of course, it got worse. Now, Dan Henninger, who is assistant editor over at the Wall Street Journal, described it this way.
And I suspect the city of Seattle's got some problems here. People in cities sue them all the time for broken curbs and the like. And in Seattle, it was literally a conscious failure to protect those businesses. And I think the taxpayers of Seattle are going to end up indeed settling some lawsuits with business owners in CHOP who were not protected.
So it's just crazy over there, folks. In that report, it just points out some great stuff. In addition to these lawsuits from the business owners and residents, one of the 3 people that got shot is considering a lawsuit against the city because the police didn't arrive quickly enough to render aid in an appropriate amount of time. So these CHOP residents kicked out the police. Then when one of them gets shot, they want to sue the police for not being there. That's how crazy it is. That's left-wing lunacy for you. And that leads us right into wrapping up on Friday with, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call, like, I don't know, a relaxed brain.
All right, so we have CHOP over there in Seattle. Then we have a neighborhood in Minneapolis who decided to do the same thing. They're going to kick the police out. But in this, rather than occupying an area, they said, you know what, we're going to agree that we're not going to call the cops for matters that deal with law enforcement. We're not going to call them at all. So guess what happened? Here's a report. A progressive Minneapolis neighborhood that pledged not to call the police in the wake of the death of George Floyd is now dealing with a 300-strong homeless encampment in a local park, according to reports. Traffic has reportedly increased in the neighborhood around Powderhorn Park as drug dealers seek to meet their clientele displaced during civil unrest, rioting, and looting following Floyd's death at the end of May. At least one person overdosed inside the park and was brought out by an ambulance. Prostitution has also been reported in the area. So now that they don't call the cops, they've got this basic homeless encampment in there, their version of CHOP. That's what they're getting for no police. Next, Jenny Slate. I want to talk about her. She's an actress that decides not to act. She's not going to do her role anymore because she voices a biracial character on a Netflix series. She's backing out because she has a new level of wokeness. And here's that report. Slate, who voices Missy in Netflix Big Mouth, posted a statement to Instagram early Wednesday that she would be leaving the role to make space for a black actress who can better portray the character. The actress said she originally justified her decision to play Missy because the character's mother is white and Jewish like her. But Missy is also black, and black characters on an animated show should be played by black people, Slate said. I acknowledge how my original reasoning is flawed, that it existed as an example of white privilege and unjust allowances made within a system of societal white supremacy, and that in me playing Missy, I was engaging in an act of erasure of black people. Like they're being erased from Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's and Cream of Wheat. That type of erasure. So she can't act anymore. So I wonder if she's going to limit herself to only playing white Jewish characters. So if a role comes for a Christian, she's not going to play that either because that erases a Christian actress that could probably do the role. Is she going to limit herself there? Isn't that what acting is all about? So then finally, I want to leave you with a couple headlines from the Babylon Bee that just really sum things up. I want to put this one up on the screen. It says, cities protecting statues by disguising them as Karl Marx. I think they'll be safe right there, although these guys don't know what they're tearing down. They're just tearing down and they're being allowed to do it. Plus this one from Father's Day weekend and our experiences with what was going on with NASCAR. We've got man horrified as kids give him noose for Father's Day. That kind of sums up the liberal lunacy. Jump to the racist conclusion before you know any facts whatsoever. Call in the FBI, 15 agents to investigate a case. Meanwhile, statues, monuments, rioting, looting are going on, and no one says anything. That's the state of the country right there, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-Minute News Hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.